Okay, what exactly is a top map, and why is it so important for understanding brain activity spatially?
So a top map is essentially a visual heat map of brain activity, projected onto a stylized head shape. It shows how a specific measurement, maybe the average signal amplitude over a period, or the amount of power in a certain frequency band, like alpha waves, is distributed across the scalp.
Ah, like a weather map for brain activity.
That's a pretty good analogy. It takes the data from each of the 64 individual electrodes and cleverly interpolates or estimates the activity in the spaces between the electrodes. This gives you a smooth, color-coded map across the whole head.
So you can see patterns across regions?
Precisely. Imagine seeing a hot spot of activity consistently lighting up over the motor cortex area whenever the subject pressed a button. Or maybe a wave of rhythmic activity spreading across the back of the head, the occipital lobe, when they were looking at something. That's the power of a top map. It lets researchers literally see the spatial dynamics of neural activity associated with different tasks or states.
Wow. So while we couldn't just, stick our plot on top of that reference PNG image we had, MNE can essentially generate a much more scientific and precise version of that idea. It uses its built-in head model and the channel location info from our data file to create these informative heat maps.
Exactly. This is how scientists really see the brain's spatial activity, turning those abstract numbers and squiggles from 64 channels into meaningful visual patterns distributed across the scalp. It's incredibly powerful for interpretation.
It really sounds like it. What a journey this deep dive has been. Seriously, from hunting for brain data on PhysioNet, successfully loading it, grappling with that really intriguing, still unsolved mystery of the unreadable event files.
It still bugs me a little.
Right. And then finally getting to these powerful visualizations of the brain signals themselves through top maps. It really highlights the challenges, but also the incredible rewards of real-world scientific data exploration.
It truly does, and I think this dive highlighted several key takeaways for anyone interested in this stuff. First, these publicly available data sets, like the ones on PhysioNet, they're just invaluable resources. For researchers, students, curious minds, they really democratize access to complex scientific data.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And second, maybe the big one from today. Working with real-world data, especially scientific data, almost always involves some detective work.
Always.
You hit unexpected errors, frustrating roadblocks like that Unicode decode error, and you constantly need to understand very specific, sometimes poorly documented file formats, like those .event files. It's rarely just a straight path from A to B.
No, but that puzzle-solving aspect, figuring things out, that's honestly part of the fun, right? It makes the successes more rewarding.
True. Which leads to the third point. These powerful libraries, like MNE-Python, they are amazing. They enable incredible insights and visualizations. They help us take these complex raw signals and actually interpret them in meaningful ways. Even if getting the data into them has twists and turns, they're the tools that help turn the raw data into a story.
Well said. And finally, I think this whole experience, especially with the event files, teaches us that sometimes the most critical piece of information, the context, the when, the what was happening, can be hidden away in these unexpected, non-standard formats.
Locked away.
Yeah. And unlocking it requires patience, persistence, and, that good dose of detective work. The best insights often come not just from running the standard code, but from asking the right questions, noticing the anomalies, and being willing to dig deeper when something doesn't make sense.
So what does this all mean for you listening in? We successfully loaded and actually saw the brain's electrical activity in fascinating detail using Topomaps. But that key piece of the puzzle, precisely when specific things happened during the recording, remains locked away, for now, in those cryptic event files.
Which leaves us with a provocative thought, doesn't it? What other secrets might be hidden in data formats we haven't yet learned how to read? Not just in EEG, but in all sorts of scientific fields, and what breakthroughs might be waiting just beyond our current ability to decode them.
It makes you wonder. The quest for knowledge, especially in data science, it seems, is so often about solving one mystery, only to find another, maybe even more intriguing one, waiting right behind it to be uncovered.
Always more questions.
Always more questions, a perfect thought to leave you with. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the electrical whispers of the brain.
Thanks, everyone.
Until next time, keep that curiosity sparking.
Everything we do is available freely on bionichaos.com. Please consider supporting me on Patreon, and don't forget to click like, subscribe, and comment.